walked into my Grand Design Reflection 303 RLS the other day and found this. The shower door just decided to shatter. No apparent reason. The trailer had been sitting in the same spot, leveled for about a week. Anyway, here's my fix. Got all the glass cleaned up. Got all of the silicone that was on here pretty much cleaned off. There was no silicone along that bottom. There's a little foam strip that went on there. One of the things, actually I didn't get all the silicone. I'll have to finish that up. One of the things that I did notice is that there's no backing behind here. So as those screws pull that side rail up tight, it's just going to kind of squash this out. So I laid all the glass panels out on the bed, and then I will get the two side curtains and the top and bottom rail assembled in the bathroom. There's just not a lot of chance that you're going to assemble this thing outside and be able to get it in here. So like I said, it's kind of tight. As you can see, my original shower was clear glass. This is a frosted texture glass, which is kind of nice because it's not going to show water spots like the old one did. And that's, I guess, the reason that Grand Design sent me the whole shower enclosure is I just had one door shatter on it, and I guess they don't make the clear ones anymore, so get to install the whole thing. So in the kitchen, so these are top and bottom rails, the all the different seals that come with it, the directions, which, well, are not a lot to them. One thing to note is while the top and bottom rails look very similar, there is one major difference, and that is this piece, which this would be the top rail, and then you can see the stops. So whatever this guy is, that's the top and that's the bottom per the instructions. So you can see the top rail has that piece right there and the bottom rail doesn't. I've got the two side panels installed, which not an easy task in such a small space, mainly because the screws go in there. So, especially on the bottom ones, trying to get everything put in there was most definitely tricky, but it's all together. So, go ahead and put a bead of silicone along the bottom, and I'm going to set this thing in there. Before I actually set the bottom rail down onto the shower base, I put a nice thick bead of pure silicone caulk all along there. So what I'll do is set that base down and let it push the caulk out and then clean it up. Then I went back and forced some silicone up into all of those original holes. Then I made sure to push a bead of caulk back in behind that aluminum piece before I pulled it up tight. Got all the original screws back in their original holes. So now when I set this thing up tight, Should have a nice silicone seal all the way along there. Got all the silicone on there. You can see I made sure and covered all the screw heads. Got a nice bead all along the inside. And down around the bottom on the inside. And then I also came around and made sure that I had a nice bead along the bottom of the outside. So when I took the old one off, the head cock along this outside edge, and it was just a tiny little bead. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see how it goes, see if it leaks. Obviously, if I have any leaks, then I'll go back and add some caulk along there, but all in all, I think it sealed up pretty good. I'm happy with it. So next we'll install the doors. When you put these doors in, what you do is push the bottom out and you lift these top rollers up into the track. So they're going to go in on the top, and then when you lay the door back down, they'll actually sit on this bottom rail. When I go to push the bottoms in, they're just a little bit too tall. All you have to do, take your screwdriver, and this is really hard for me to film for some reason, just back off on these screws. What that'll do is let the door drop down to the point where it can push and get the bottoms to latch. Got the handles on. I got the doors adjusted. And I'll show you what you want to look for. That noise, because these doors have this rough finish, that noise is actually this little seal scraping against there just a little bit. Kind of annoying, but I guess it is what it is. So when you go to adjust these doors, what we're looking at is the gap. So we want that gap to be pretty much the same all the way along the doors. And this is a magnetic piece that helps to hold those doors closed. But if, for instance, the top came in a little bit before the bottom, tilt the door back by raising this one, lowering this one. So you want to try and get both sides to be the same height. The other thing that I check is these little spring latches on the bottom. I always want to make sure that there's some spring tension there, that I don't have that door pulled all the way up tight. Because again, going down the road, this whole thing is going to flex and move, and you want these doors to sit nice and loose in there. The other thing I found is this magnetic seal, when I put it on, was kind of pushed back a little, so it's really hard to see, but there's a bevel on these, so one fits inside the other. Sometimes all you have to do is just kind of push on these a little bit, but you should get a nice tight seal. All in all, this wasn't a terribly hard project. I did this myself. I would certainly recommend that you get somebody to help you with it. These are kind of big pieces to try and manipulate. So yeah, that's replacing the shower doors on a Grand Design Reflection 303 RLS. Thanks for watching.